Mike, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. First things first, keep this really simple as to get us rolling. You having a good day so far?
Not too bad, yeah.
Yeah? Chilling out, relaxing, just preparing for what's about to come at the end of this week?
What is about to come? Oh, the thing that we're here for. I'm in my own world most of the time. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to prepare mentally as much as I can.
Lily, no worries. Well, it is a few days' time, as of the time recording, the release of your new EP, Irretrospective Part 1, September 15th, via Chameleons Risen. So, with that in mind, then, at this stage, and we're so close to release, where do you find your head right now? Are you in a state of excitement to get it out and see it walking its own two legs, or are you at that point where you kind of still enjoying the ride?
I'd say it's more like relief to get the music done and out there. It's very old music. This is like a three-part series of EPs. And the first four songs are like just over 10 years old. And it's just stuff that's been like sitting around and I never finished it. And now it's like, now's the time to just finish it all and get it out and get it done. So I have other things planned that I would like to move on to.
Is it almost like a clearing of the hard drive situation?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like if I don't finish it, it still sits in the back of my head like I could have or should have done something with it. So I have to get it out there and over with, really.
Well, take me back to the early days of your vision for this series. Did you have a clear idea of what you wanted to do initially? And was the plan to do three separate EPs?
No, definitely not. There was no plan. I mean, like the original version of this project was called the Dream Knots, and it was back in 2012 or 13, put out one demo with a couple of these songs on it, but it just didn't I didn't stick with it. I had other things
Hmm.
going on in my life. So this is just kind of wrapping that all up. I mean, like back then I had even then a couple of the songs were kind of old. So um yeah, I mean, I've just been writing music just aimlessly almost
Hmm.
for a very long time, and starting 1,000 songs and never finishing them. um so this is just getting them all done, and the three EP thing is just um to try to get a bit more chance at getting traction through the releases.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you put out a 12-song album and it's like done, and in a month everybody moves on. So this is a little bit of an attempt to get a few more ears on it. It's a definitely a cheap way of doing it. It's like I didn't even name it three different things. They just called it part one, two, and three. So it's like it's kind of lazy artistically, but you know,
Makes it easy to follow along with if you do, say, stumble across part two on Spotify
yeah,
further down the line, you know immediately there's a part one somewhere.
yeah, yeah. And I did want to make sure that it was like clear that this is like a body of work that's kind of all related, and not just random things. Yeah.
So you go back to these older songs spread over a long period of time, and so you decide to finish them up. As you're progressing and you're deciding and picking and choosing, how does it begin to fall in, how does it take shape? How do you get to the point where you realize it's 12 songs and it's going to be, well, whatever it was originally, an album or three EPs? Is it the events around you that shaped it, or did it just fall into place?
Um, it's really just it got to the point where like, okay, I need to get stuff off my plate. What do I have that's actually done and written?
Hmm.
Because I still have like a half dozen other sessions on my computer of other songs that are for this project that I've, you know, over time it's become more focused writing and more deliberate. But I still have a backlog of things to do. So it was really just like these songs are old, they're written, they're done. There's no excuse for me not to put them out. I just have to finish them. which is always the last 10% is always the most difficult to get through.
Did you have any issues to find almost a connecting tissue? Did you not really care about that?
I think a lot of it is related, and I think thematically between the three EPs, like they each kind of represent like a distinct set of issues that I was working through at the time. Whether intentionally or not. Sometimes I'm writing stuff and I think I'm writing it about one thing, and it turns out, you sit on it a few months and you're like, oh, that's really about something else. So like the part one is I guess kind of just struggling with independence and personal relationships. Not to go into too much detail. um and it's very much related to an era of my life that is just kind of you know in retrospective, it's like I was, young and immature and didn't know how to handle myself or the world around me. So it's like there's a certain mindset between them. The second EP is more like my relationships with like friends and things like that, how those relationships kind of evolve or devolve over time. And how that can kind of disintegrate or, kind of fluctuates over time. And then the last one is mostly they're the newest songs, I think, overall, and generally concerning, self-improvement, self-evaluation, like trying to take care of your own mental health instead of worrying about, other people and how other people are affecting you. So it is one conceptual thing, although it kind of fell into place like that.
Well, were you describing it and explaining kind of what sort of thematics around the EPs is? It makes sense, the period of time that you've described and talked about, that where these songs come from, because that is almost a huge section of a person's life where you can go through these different environments and different experiences and grow and learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is fair to call it a deeply personal record then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel comfortable with the idea that a person can listen to it, can hear this first part as well in particular, and of course take potentially their own things, take their own stuff from it, not maybe fully understand your personal perspective, but might be able to relate to it?
I mean, if anybody can relate at all, then I think I feel a little bit better about myself. I mean, I don't think I go into any serious detail in these songs. I feel like if you listen to a song and you hear something that I didn't intend, then it's like that's fine. It's like I don't know, that's how I approach other music. Like you might get something out of it that wasn't really meant to be there, but if it means something, then that's valuable.
You're still getting something out of it. That's it, isn't it? Overall, then, what's an aspect of working on the EP series from beginning to end that you found you particularly enjoyed?
Let's see. The stuff that has always like piqued my interest was just the fact that I could I mean the way this is all produced, it's like I sat and I had like a guitar riff or whatever, and I've played through my computer for all the longest time. And so I'll sit down and open up a session in Logic, and I'll play whatever guitar part I have, and I'll throw a beat on it, just with one of the electronic drum sets. And then eventually I'll just have a song, whether I intend to or not. Like I don't really write complete songs and then record. I just kind of sit down and demo out parts, and maybe I might go in with like one or two parts that work together. but I don't really have a song fleshed out before I start recording, and I just kind of piece things together. And I think none of the composition on these EPs is terribly complicated. It's
Hmm.
all fairly straightforward rock or pop kind of structures, but like I do enjoy that aspect of it, because it's like the parts that come naturally. I've been playing guitar for a super long time, and playing bass for a long time. So sitting down and just recording some cheesy, low fidelity demos is like just easy and relaxing.
Oh,
Uh,
relaxing, yeah.
yeah. The stressful part comes with trying to finish lyrics and record vocals, because then you start second guessing everything. Uh, I'm not the most experienced lyricist or singer,
Mm.
so it's kind of like guitar. I don't I suppose at least for this music where it's it's not technically that challenging. So it's just fun to like bang out riffs, do whatever. But it's stressful to put that last uh it's really, I mean, like the last layer of personal things on it, really.
The
That's what
icing on a cake almost.
yeah.
Well, sticking with that then, we'll talk to me then about we're coming up with the lyrics, specifically focused on Sadus focusing on part one, as that is the record that's about to be released. Would you say that was the most challenging aspect of this record? And how did you piece together the lyrics?
Yeah, it definitely was. For the first three tracks, I
Hmm.
kind of wrote those lyrics between 2009 and 2012.
Hmm.
So they're just like, I did it and they're like, that's done. That's what it is. Who cares? And then for Bourbon, the last song, I wrote the guitars for that in 2009 or something, and then wrote the lyrics in 2018. Uh which is like a ridiculously long, songwriting process for just, 5 minutes of music. But like that song in particular is about, personal relationships ending, like um just kind of coping with those feelings. And it just took that long because that's, I mean, I think that's how long those events took to resolve themselves.
Hmm.
I mean, there was multiple events that kind of inspired that, but parallel parallel themes, I guess. So yeah, that was probably the most difficult part. Was because I wrote lyrics for that way back when, and then I scrapped them and redid them and scrapped them and redid them and finally finished. Like I said, enough is enough in 2018 and did it. So
How do you, considering all of that and the scrapping and reworking, how do you draw a line under your creativity? Is it just what you just said, enough is enough?
yeah, it's definitely evolved. Um, with this music, it is all stuff that is old, and I've um not for all of it, but in some cases I've lost that like headspace
Hmm.
where it originally came from. So I do have to just say, yeah, that's it. That's enough. Um, but like throughout the whole process, I'm kind of learning what I have to do for songwriting, and it's like I have to finish it while I'm in that headspace, and you know, not delay it for a decade unnecessarily.
Well, I have to ask, why even do this? What you have all this music, you have all these songs, you have all this writing, dating back to say as far as 2008. But obviously you're still creating now, you're also moving forward as an artist and as a musician. Why why even bother to look backwards?
I feel like I have to just to
Mm.
get it out of my system. Um, I mean, I don't think I would write songs that sound exactly like this today, but like I still like parts of these songs and they're still important to me. And if I moved on without putting them out in some capacity, I would feel like It's just, I mean, I'm kind of a completionist, so if I didn't do it, it'd be like nagging in the back of my brain. Um, and I think actually executing the whole process was really important for just realizing like what the songs mean to me, and like,
Mm.
and maybe like what some of them don't mean anymore. Like realizing how I feel about them now in retrospect,
A
partially.
sort of personal therapy session to a degree, when internalizing and looking back and seeing where you are now by comparison.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think if they just stayed as like demos on my hard drive, then um I just wouldn't have this point of view of it.
Mm.
I feel like it'd still be um there I'd still have this idea of potential there. Whereas now, like the potential is being realized, and I know exactly what it is, um, and I know how good I think it is, or not good, and it becomes tangible and like
Yeah.
real. I can say that's what it is and accept it.
For someone who will maybe experience an Async Await for the first time via this EP, however they discover it, what do you want this EP to say to them, to a brand new person who's not aware of your musical background?
Um, I don't even really know. This stuff was all more about like just dealing with inner stuff.
Hmm.
They're really, I wish I had a better like marketing thing for it, but there really just isn't any. It's just like I'm doing this because I have to.
Hmm.
There's I don't know how to like advertise this or promote it to somebody. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you want music that is like somebody going through some stuff, maybe, then this is something that you might be interested in. Um, yeah, that's probably the best I can do.
And I want to add in there as well, we have been talking for nearly 20 minutes, talking about past and talking about music that was created a while ago and completed, and we worked what it is now. These songs, talking about part one specifically, stand on their own as quality pieces of music. So that's the other reason why people should actually listen to it as well. They are very good songs.
Thank you.
Is there a specific track from part one that you're most interested in hearing the reaction to?
And hearing a reaction to that'd probably be Owl Sanctuary, just because it's weird, and
Mm.
I really don't know. Like I feel like claustrophobic is something that might go over better. That's why it's the first track. I feel like that'll just it's a little bit more digestible. But Owl Sanctuary is just a weird song, and I was in a real weird headspace when I wrote it. So it's like I really don't understand. I don't know how anybody else would interpret that song in any way. It's really um of its time and place.
I like that, of its time and place.
Yeah.
Is the rest of the series fully planned out? E.g., do you know your release windows and you know what you're going to be needing to do to push it?
Yeah. Part two is coming out in November, and then part three in January.
Oh, cool.
Um, as far as pushing it, I'm doing a tour in January, a couple of weekenders, so
Nice.
nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's it.
It's January, you're out and about. That's always good to hear. And it's great because ultimately you could have probably stretched this a lot further, done one every 3 months or so on. So it's good. That'll be nicely wrapped up for January, start of a new year, and
Yeah.
start fresh effectively.
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of stuff planned after that, so it's like I
Mm.
wanted to space it out a little bit to like drag out the promo stuff,
Hmm.
but I really didn't want to drag it out farther than necessary because it's like I got more plans.
I love that even before I had to ask any questions about it, about the fact that it was being split into three, you mentioned at the very, very start of this interview that you put it into three purely because that's kind of a way to get people's attention these days. You can put a full album out, but it'll be forgotten about. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you then, for you as a musician, you doing what you've done up to this point in your career, what does success at this stage mean for you?
I've been kind of thinking about this for a while because I mean I'm in school for music right now. I have a day job. I feel like there is like I think most people want a version of success where um there's some sort of money coming in.
Ideally.
Right? And even just enough to sustain yourself. I don't even know if that's like a real thing anymore, you know? So what I'm trying to focus on, for my idea of success, I'm trying to focus on just doing what I want artistically. Um, and whether that achieves the goal that I had for it, like if I have an album, if I feel like that album achieves the goal I had set out for it, then that's success, and just leave it there. So I feel like once you start trying to say like, oh, I need music to be like a source of income, that it totally skews everything you do and everything you're trying to, create. Um, and yeah, I mean, the school aspect of it is important because I'm learning a lot of um more artistic, less music industry related thing. Like there's all sorts of music that kind of falls into genre and stuff, like stuff that fits nicely into um a marketing package, that like we know the audience for this, we know what places to go on tour, what venues, how much you're going to sell at that location. And I'm with the schooling, I'm moving away from that into more experimental things, or at least I'm attempting to. I kind of want to like find a middle ground of just playing music that's fun and entertaining for me, and then doing stuff that's like more artistically challenging. I feel like it's too much of either of those things, and it's like if it's too much just playing into a genre, then it's not as interesting because
Yeah.
it's just like you're just color by numbers. But if you're doing it, if you're trying to do something that's like super high art, like conceptual, then it can get a little bit like um harder to digest. So it's like I kind of want to find a middle ground that like suits me.
It's fascinating that you're still exploring your own limits at these stage and how far you're willing to go in your own creative circles. And it's, I guess at this point in time, it's fair to say no limitations. See what happens as you progress over the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a few things planned already, but like I feel like I'm gonna make a few left turns.
So on the opposite side of that, so ignoring all the creative stuff, going to the not so fun aspect of making music, from streaming numbers to comments online to social media, that aspect, is that something you can find any enjoyment in it at all?
I mean, sometimes the numbers are more depressing than anything else. I don't think I've really hit my stride yet with finding an audience. Um, but I mean, it's why I'm here right now. It's like trying to get things out there to see
Hmm.
what the audience is for what I'm doing, or what I'm trying to do in the future. Um, I'm fairly introverted. I'm not the kind of person that really goes online and talks to people very much, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like maybe like the worst thing you could be is someone who's trying to promote music in any way.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I lots of bands have gotten a pretty solid following on Instagram just from going and commenting and talking to people, and it's like I most of the time I don't have like the mental energy to get into that, which
Yeah, it's
I
draining.
wish I did, but I gotten better at it, you know.
Hmm.
It's kind of you learn to talk to people. You learn to be able to kind of compartmentalize that and be like, oh, it's not that important. It's just some guy on the internet. Um, I get I overplay how I guess how wrong that could go for some reason.
I mean, it's fair. I don't. It's there's no issue with that because it's the internet. It can be a wild. It's the wild, wild west. Effectively, it can be insane out there, and with so many social media platforms and so many bands, artists, and from different walks of life, all vying for attention. It's really hard to cut through. So,
Yeah.
you talk about mental energy. It is an exhausting, exhausting experience. So, if you're even able to do even a small bit, it's doing something. I think.
Yeah, I try at the bare minimum. I try to get out there and like a few posts just to show the world that like I exist
Yeah.
and like, I think you're okay. Like it's it's a good starting point at least.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, looking to next year, 2024, what is something that you would like to accomplish if possible?
um, let's see. So I kind of am not giving myself too much choice about a lot of these things
Hmm.
just for timeliness. I do still have it's like the first thing after the irretrospective EPs would be for my other project, Censorin. I do have an EP that I would like to put out. I think in the spring,
Hmm.
maybe like mid late spring. Another 4 songs, a little bit of an evolution from the album that I put out in 2022. There's a couple like loose singles that'll come out around that time too. Um, I have more backlogged music, very old demos for Censor, and then I want to put out as 2 more EPs.
Wow.
If I can, finish them. Um, let's see, I have a whole metal album that I have left to finish, and I have
Fantastic.
another Async Await EP. So like how much of that, I mean like the first censoring EP will definitely happen. How much will happen after that is really to be determined
Mm.
based on my schedule um and other obligations.
So if
Unfortunately,
you
unfortunately I'm not doing this full time, so
obviously, yes, of course, join the club there.
yeah.
Absolutely. But if you could get even, I guess, even half of that out in 2024, wow, that'd be incredible in itself.
Yeah, it's difficult to have like I'd spent um about 15 years writing music and
Mm.
doing these little demos and stuff, all this like censoring like beats and electronic music and stuff, uh doing the stuff and never totally finishing it and never releasing it. So I'm just trying to work through all that so I can say I did. I don't know, it feels weird to work on new stuff without finishing what I've already done. I because I've been in the habit of starting things for so long. I want to get into the habit of finishing things.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot to work through.
It's still fantastic to hear, and I can't wait to see what comes next. All right, Mike. We reached part of the interview where this guy takes over. This is Ozzy Osbourne, and in his head are randomized cards, anything and everything. So I'm going to be pulling out a selection, and if you don't mind, give me an answer.
Okay.
Okay, 37. In your opinion, what is your worst personality trait?
My worst personality trait.
Hmm.
Ooh. I can be hypocritically judgmental of other people.
Okay, okay.
And I'm really good at criticizing other people.
Hmm.
And then if I have trouble taking criticism myself.
But
So
with that, I mean, the fact you're able to identify it, do you think that's something you're getting better at not doing?
I think so.
There you
Definitely
go. So
better at it than I was 5 or 10 years ago. So
growth, that's all we can ever hope to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Okay, 48. What kind of a drunk are you? If you drink, that is.
I do drink. Um, I can get a little overzealous, I would say.
Oh.
Uh, I'm very unreserved. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. What is the most decadent thing you think you've ever eaten?
Trying to think. Um, I feel like I haven't eaten. I'm not a very decadent eater, I don't think. I had oh, I think it was like one of those egg breakfasts with like the bechamel sauce. Um in just outside of Quebec in a diner once. It was very good. And I'd say that was decadent because that was like 3 eggs and I think like a half pound of butter. So that was a pretty solid one that I can remember.
In a diner as well. Absolutely. You don't expect to get something like that there. Oh, okay. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh my god. Um, Triceratops.
That's the first time that's ever come up. Any particular reason?
I feel like that's. I mean, what tactical flaw does a Triceratops have? Like Tyrannosaurus has the tiny arms.
Hmm.
Stegosaurus. I don't know. They seem pretty robust, you know.
Yeah, best I could think, like, and this is only ever based off seeing movies and things like that, because obviously I'm not seeing any in real life. Maybe they're slow to turn?
Maybe, but
Maybe.
they're like a tank, though, you know.
Yeah, basically. Good choice. Um, what is something you just find so boring, but others tend to love?
Um, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Ooh, very good.
Let's
Very
alienate
good.
everybody.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Has this been, is it for you been a dropping off because of the amount of content, or is it straight away from the start you had very little interest?
I mean, back when the like the first Thor movies came out, I was kind of interested in it, but after that, it's like the plot. I don't know. I don't even think I saw any of the Avengers movies. It just seems so convoluted, and I have
Mm.
this like contrarian thing where if I hear everybody talking about it, then I'm just like, I'm not interested. I go and find something else. I do miss out on a lot of stuff that way, but I don't think that I've missed out too much on Marvel stuff. It just seems very convoluted and like a lot of work.
Yeah, if you were to, I mean, if that's as much as you haven't seen, and there's plenty in the modern day that I haven't, it would take you a long time to catch up. There's, TV series and all this stuff. I find it
Yeah.
infuriating as well,
And
personally. So
and you got to go on Reddit and to see like how all the things actually mesh together and work. Like it's like a whole commitment, really.
it is, it is. Okay, let's try this one then. What is your best habit?
I do. I don't have many good habits. Wow. Um,
When we talk about
I do
habits, we
man-
always go on.
oh, I think I do manage to wake up every day at a vaguely reasonable hour to start work, and that's like a really low bar for that, though. I think that might be the best thing I do.
I feel like I have to ask you, what's a vaguely reasonable hour?
Uh, Somewhere between 9 and 10. I've been
Excellent.
able to not get fired from a job. Well, that's not true. Not for that reason, anyway.
Okay. Okay, no, that's good. That's good. That's good. What's more interesting to you personally? Deep space or deep sea?
Hmm. That's pretty tough, actually. I think I'll go deep space.
Hmm.
I was always a fan of Star Trek, The Next Generation, and a little bit of Deep Space Nine, and feel like I mean space is also or deep sea is very interesting also, but in general, I go for space.
Do you believe there is life out there?
I would hope so. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
few other inhabitable planets that we found, so I'd hope there's something else going on. I've seen all
You'd
this stuff
hope, right?
about yeah, people are, former government officials from different countries are coming out and saying, yes, there are aliens. Like, this is what they're like. And everybody else is like, oh, they're just getting paid to say that to distract you from something else. And it's just like, it would be really cool if it was just like cut and dry. If they could really just tell you, like, here's what's really there, but we'll never know. I mean, even if all the scientists and the government know, like, it'll never filter down to us.
No, unless, like I said, they just turn up one day on our doorsteps.
Yeah.
What is your go-to pizza order? If you eat pizza, of course.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, so I'm from New Jersey here, and
Mm,
lots of people like to say they have good pizza, but like North Jersey pizza is pretty much like the standard for me. Um, in that sense, like a plain slice is just the standard. But
yeah.
like I'm I like to get like the gourmet ones where it's like chicken parmesan, I don't know.
Yeah. That's pretty
And
nice,
I mean,
actually.
yeah, like Italian food is it's real here. That's that's the only thing. Like I'm not Italian at all, but like in New Jersey, like it is for real. It's not like Olive Garden or Carrabba's. I'd gone to Carrabba's recently because I had a gift card and it was just like it's garbage.
Really?
Yeah. You can I mean, this is where to be for that kind of food, really.
As authentic as you can get outside of Italy, right?
I think it's not even authentic to Italy. It's just authentic to really New York and New Jersey. Like it's its own thing. Like this is the correct place to be for this food.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that. Okay. Two more.
Mhm.
Mario or Sonic? Which do you prefer? Which side are you on?
Mario. Uh,
Why?
I had Nintendo stuff growing up. I did not have Sega, and I did try to play Sega or Sonic as a kid at my friend's house. I was just terrible at it. Too fast moving. Like it's too much for me to process. I need like a minute to like catch up. Not that
What
Mario isn't
was
fast moving, but not quite as much.
um what was the last Mario game you played? How up to date? How many games have you continued to play it through the years?
I think Super Mario 4, the one for the Wii.
Ah, I'm trying to think. Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh, I did play that one.
Hmm.
Um, it was like the one it was still side scroller, but it was four player.
Right, I think I know the one you mean. Yeah, I think I do. The reason I was asking because I wanted to kind of grab and go, well, what is your favorite Mario game?
I don't know. I really didn't play them that extensively.
Fair
Probably that
enough.
one for the Wii because I actually did get some friends together and we beat it in like the four-player co-op mode. So that was really fun. Uh,
Nice. Wii is
yeah.
perfect for that. All right, last one, Mike, and it's this. What is your favorite swear word?
Trying to be all like professional here and not use any cuss words. It's fuck. I mean, that's the standard. It's like it's the benchmark. And I am from New Jersey, so
course.
we know how to use it over here.
Don't worry about professionalism and no swear words. It is an over 18s interview and website, so we're used to that aspect. Trust me, the fact that you've gone all this far without saying a single swear word is actually a bloody miracle. So there it is, going at the end. Awesome. Irretrospective Part 1, September 15th via Chameleons Risen. That is when Part 1 EP is out. Of course, you've already said Part 2 November and Part 3 in January. Mike, look very much forward to seeing what comes for the rest of the year and throughout 2024 by what you told me. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
No worries, that's it. We leave it there. That's what will be cut. And yeah, best of luck with the release. I hope it's all really successful for you. Hope you have a good end of the year. And yeah, best of luck on finishing all this stuff. It's an incredible amount of work, but you know, you've already managed to do this with this Trios of EP. So I'd imagine you'll do it.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
No worries. All right, take care, man. Bye-bye.
You too. Later.
Bye. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.